In true rags to riches fashion, the 2022 indie hit Stray is getting a full-on film adaptation from Annapurna Animation. We'll get into all the details so far.
And a new Nintendo Switch could be closer than we think. We're going to talk about all this stuff and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest news in the video game industry. You can check us out on Fruit Lab, YouTube, podcast services everywhere. Just gotta remember those three little letters, baby. GNW, and you'll have this sweet show coming at you. My name is E-Rock the Red, joined every single week by this gentleman right here. Full clip. What's going on, dude? How are you?
Hey, how you? I'm out of it a little bit.
Nights. One of those nights, dude.
Yeah, it's one of those nights. It's one of those weeks. It's been a long one. But how you doing?
I'm fantastic, dude. Yeah, it is. It has been a long week, and it's getting closer to the end of the week. And the NFL season starts up this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
As we speak, there's a game on right now. So it's all happening, dude. It's exciting.
Nice. Your team play this week?
The Buffalo Bills play on Monday night, September 11th in New York. So it should be an event. So
sweet.
I'm excited. Yeah. What's new with you? Anything fun? Anything cool?
You know, as far as like games I got into, I did not play as much Baldur's Gate 3 as I had intended this week. I don't think I even touched it. I just had a couple of those nights where I just wanted to drink a couple beers, play something I don't necessarily need to really be into and remember, a lot of storyline and stuff. So I actually jumped back into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And
nice.
It's been fun. Yeah, they've added some new modes in the little month or two hiatus I took since unlocking the final camo. And the one that I was surprised most by was Armored Gunfight. You familiar with the gunfight mode?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 2v2, very, very small, round-based. Capture the flag in the middle once the timer runs out. And this is that, but it adds in like 3 pads or whatever they call them, plates of armor from like Warzone. I'm usually like, I like hardcore, which is the exact opposite, where it's like almost one hit kill with any gun. So this adds a layer of complication, but I played a few matches and absolutely kicked their asses, and it was nice.
Nice, that's fun. I was just gonna buy a new hard drive for my PlayStation. I was like, yeah, once I get this, I could, fill it right up with Modern Warfare 2 or whatever back on there. So there were some sales on Labor Day, and I've been like waiting to I keep going back and forth on whether I should buy 2 terabyte or a 1 terabyte extension. And I'm like, because the prices aren't that different, but so I don't know. For the good ones, it's a pretty big jump. Like if I could get away with getting a decent one with a 2 terabyte under 100. But like for the really good ones, the 2 terabytes are still maybe like 150, 160. So
yeah. So is that SSDs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those, you gotta go with those for the speed.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's so easy. Like the PlayStation 5 has like the extendable slot, so you just pop it right in there. But yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, I could put Modern Warfare on there and check that out again. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe next week I'll pull the trigger and get that going. Dude, yeah, I had a similar week where I was just not like, I had a very busy week where I didn't get the time that I wanted to play games. And when I did have time to play it, like I played Sea of Stars. I played some of that. I know we talked about that last week. And even that, like, I keep thinking about it. It's such a great game, dude. I think you'll like it. It flows so great. The story's fantastic. It just has like a beautiful like hook to like keep you wanting to play. And I've been thinking about that every single day. And then yesterday I was like, all right, I'm not gonna play Sea of Stars. Starfield just came out. I'm gonna play that. And like something happened where my download didn't go through. So like I didn't end up playing that, which is a bummer. I really wanted to have that locked and loaded to talk about today. And then on top of that, like anytime I want to play it, my kid is obsessed with Minecraft, and it's on the Xbox. So like he's always playing on the Xbox.
Yeah.
So what I did play, I played a bunch on my Steam Deck. I played a game we're going to talk about in the new releases, a game called Fae Farm. So I'll wait and I'll share my thoughts when we get to that in our new releases. But
Oh, well, I had a little bit of a similar experience here. There's a service that we go through to get keys, and there's one that's a little more elusive. They're a little more picky about who they give keys to. I actually got accepted for one that I wanted to be here talking about today, Pool Cleaning Simulator, but they gave me a duplicate key.
oh, nice. Did you have you checked it out yet?
Nope, haven't had a chance. So I reported it on that site, and I even sent the developers a quick email just to see if they could get the ball rolling and get me a key that hasn't been used already. But so far, I haven't heard back from anybody. Maybe next week I'll talk about it.
I was looking at that one a bunch too because I was like, okay, so with simulator games, there's that line where it's either like a well-made game, or it's just a cash grab piece of shit. And like I was looking at their background, if they've had like what games they've had in the past. And they haven't had any of the classic, simulator games that we might have played. I think they have one like House, something, I don't know, Builder or something like that. And the reputation was it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't like garbage like shovelware. So I'm excited to if you get it figured out. If you let me know how that game is.
Yeah.
All right, should we get into our new releases?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. These are our new releases from this past week. All right, the first two I'm just going to touch on because we've talked about them ad nauseum the last couple of weeks. Baldur's Gate 3 came out on the PlayStation 5. You've heard a lot about Baldur's Gate 3 from pretty much everywhere, but I just wanted to talk about it. From everything I'm hearing, it runs amazingly on the PS5. I saw an article today say it's basically just the PC version at like ultra settings, like that it is just running beautifully. It's currently at a 97 on Metacritic, so it's even higher than the PC version. And then another note, it's cross-save. So I was like, should I buy a copy on the PS5? And I'm like, oh, no, not yet. Maybe soon. Because, dude, if I could just play, like, on the beautiful, with the beautiful PS5 settings after playing just entirely on the Steam Deck, it's going to be amazing. And then just to be able to carry my game over and not have to start over and stuff like that. So I was like, we'll see. So I don't know. I've never bought a full-priced game twice before. I've purchased a game again on sale and stuff like that, but to buy a $70 game or whatever twice is, I don't know, dude. I think it was only $60 on the PC, right?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see you go full circle here. Get the PlayStation version, then go get the PlayStation Portal so that you can play on the toilet with that handheld version again.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Back to square one. So, we'll see. And then the next one also came out on the 6th of September, Starfield for Xbox XS and PC. We talked about this a lot last week when the reviews came out. The brand new Bethesda game. I did see that so far 6 million players have played the game and over 1 million concurrent players at launch. It's Bethesda's biggest launch game yet. So I really wanted to get in there and mess around with it, but I haven't gotten a chance to. But maybe this week.
Yeah, same here. I'll wait till they iron out some of the bugs and grab it on Game Pass.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of gameplay, a lot of videos on YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that. I did see one I thought was funny and very interesting. Someone put 20,000 potatoes in the cabin of their ship.
Yeah.
Did you see this? And it was just, all it really did was show off the physics and how, like, when the potatoes come falling out, each potato that he put in there is a separate entity and it moves, and then the door closes and they all move, and it was very, very impressive how, I know like Bethesda's always really good about that, like making each item in the world have its own space and be its own thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, and the next one, Fae Farm, came out September 8th on Nintendo Switch and PC. So this, I did get a review copy of this game, it's not one I would normally play, but I've been like really getting into those ones like the simulator games, the house, like something where it's just like I can shut my brain off and do some tasks and then just just kind of go through this world. And this is kind of what I was hoping this would be. It reminds me of like a Stardew Valley or an Animal Crossing type, one of those situations. It's like it's a farming game basically, except it does have magical things in it. Now I've put about, I think maybe I'm at about 6 hours in, and it's checking some of those boxes for me. So it starts off as this character creation, a limited character creation. It's like a little cutesy thing, kind of like a My Sim type thing, one of those, or like the Nintendo Mii's or whatever. And then you go through and you're just learning how to farm in this world and do all this and fish and catch bugs, and you have these magical animals that you could raise and get food from them and dye them different colors. And then during all this, it was fine. It was a little bit like too simplified. It's kind of to the point where I was getting a little bored with some of it at some points. Now, I know that's kind of the whole point of this. It's not supposed to be action-packed, but I was waiting for that magic aspect to come in, where it's like there's this land of fairies and you gotta like do all this stuff. So then it enters where you could go in these dungeons, and then it starts opening up to more where it's kind of becomes like a dungeon crawler where you got to collect gems and then make these potions. And I'm just like right at the tip. I just started getting to that part of it. So I'll report back on how it changes the game. But as it is now, like it's it's exactly what you would expect from one of those games. It's not very new or innovative. It does it all very well. There's no bugs or anything like that. But it's simple. It doesn't add, the fishing is as you would expect, and sometimes it takes a little bit long. Don't be fighting a fish for the longest time. I think I need to upgrade my fishing pole, maybe is what that's telling me. But you can make friends with all these characters. The characters are kind of annoying. There's no like voices, but they all like giggle like all the time. And I'm just like, stop giggling so much. And then there's romances that you can do. I haven't gotten that point yet, but I'm sure like coming off of Baldur's Gate 3, it's not going to be much like that. But yeah, so it is what it is. Like it's exactly what you would expect from one of these games. If you're in the market for like a cozy farm type game with a little bit more, I think that's what you would expect. The one thing that I don't know so it's a $60 Nintendo Switch game. It's $59.99 for this game. And I don't know if it's worth $60. Now, I didn't pay for it. So, it depends on how badly you want to get into one of these games. I could see somebody playing this game and getting their money's worth out of it for sure. Because, I'm just at the very tip of this thing, and I've put in a bunch of hours, and like I can only craft a certain number of things. Like you have to find recipes and then discover items, and as you do that, you can create more and more things. But it's also, and then I think it's $40 on PC, so a big difference there. But
that's very strange.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it. I think they got some pushback from fans or people that were wanting to play it. And I think they had a little bit, this is my guess, they were able to mess with the price a little bit more on the the PC one later, because up until very recently it was still $60 on both. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, and another cool aspect that I haven't done is that you can play with up to, I think, 3 or 4 people and get in there and do the dungeon crawls and crafting and stuff together. So I think that would be cool. You could do it online or local. So it's a fun aspect.
Nice. Does this have like the day-night cycle adopted from Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon?
It does. So
okay.
In the evening, it kind of prompts you to sleep. And then, your quests will either, trigger. I didn't play any Harvest Moon or whatever, so I don't know. But yeah, it definitely does. And like there's, more, things that are different in the night as they are in the day and that sort of thing. So
yeah, that's always the part that kind of takes it from really chill game that you could play in the background is sometimes you feel a bit of a time crunch there.
Right, and this one is great about that time crunch in that when it asks you to do a quest or you do something, like, there's no time limit. You could just mess around, do whatever, and eventually, get it done, which is kind of cool, because for a while I was just exploring. I was seeing how, like, if I could break the game, really, because you have this jump, like, where you don't have jump in a lot of these games, and so you could jump up, like, these cliffs and go to, like, this area. But they have, like, there's these poisonous gases and stuff that kind of block you from going any further. But it's pretty funny. Like, you could jump right into the water, which I keep doing when I'm going to fish. I accidentally, like, jump into the water or fall into the water. It's kind of annoying. But then you dive around like you're, like, a dolphin. It's really weird. So, yeah, Fae Farm. If you're, like, into the cozy games, go check it out. All right, and then last up, NBA 2K24 came out on September 8th on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, XS, Nintendo Switch, and PC. NBA basketball, baby. What more do we have to say? You got the new Pro Play technology to make it seem more authentic, visually, I guess as we should say. And then the My Career mode, My Team mode, My NBA mode. I don't know what any of those do, but I do know this. You can play basketball on the beach.
Yeah. Is there something controversial about this one? Because, the weirdest thing I'll probably ever say about this is that I overheard somebody today talking to his friend about whether or not they were going to pick up this game. And they said, like, I can see why they would do that, for money. I don't know if I'm going to get the new 2K if it's like that.
I don't know. I couldn't find anything. I did see, like, the Steam reviews, like, I think there was only like 15 of them or whatever, but they were all like negative. I think it was down to like 15% positive reviews or whatever. And so I don't know specifically what happened. I don't know if it's like a pay to win type situation or if it's just the same recycled shit as previous years, which I mean it's always been all these 2K games, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big basketball fan, so I don't really pay attention much. What about you? You like basketball?
Not really.
Yeah, no.
Not in video game form, anyway.
Yeah, you shoot some hoops out there.
Yeah,
go
maybe.
Down, take the kids to the schoolyard.
Show them how it's done.
Exactly. All right. Well, those were our new releases from this past week. Let's talk about some news, baby. All right, our top story is a secret Nintendo Switch 2 in the works. It seems that way. At Gamescom, there were behind closed doors, hands-on with this Switch 2. They were showing like an upgraded version of the Zelda Breath of the Wild and the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo during some of these events. And supposedly it's on par with PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. So, what do you think of this?
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Do you think they're going to re-release Breath of the Wild in this new form?
It seems, that was one of my first thoughts. So, like, they had this demo, and it was like an improved version of the game. And I'm like, why would you choose that one to do this for? Especially when you got Tears of the Kingdom just came out, probably, a little bit higher specs and that sort of thing. So it just seems interesting because it was running at a higher frame rate and resolution than the first game was. So yeah, I don't know. This is going to be the question when we're talking about the Switch 2 ultimately is, what does this mean for backwards compatibility? You know, are they going to be re-releasing some of these classic games as a updated remastered type version, or will the new Switch give it some sort of a boost if you play some of these older ones? So one of the things, so the demo that they played was said to have been using the NVIDIA DLS upscaling technology. I'm finding out here. It's got advanced ray tracing enabled and visuals comparable to Sony and Microsoft current gen. I guess what it is, this is the deep learning super sampling. It's a feature exclusive to NVIDIA graphics cards. On PC, it works by using AI to upscale the resolution of games, effectively allowing developers to achieve higher graphical settings and better frame rates on weaker hardware. So they said at any normal screen distance, it looks almost as good as the real thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting that they're using this hardware to kind of make everything look much, better than it might possibly be. So yeah, I don't know what this is going to mean.
I'd be interested to see to get more details on this and know if this is more of like a finished production model, because I think we had heard that whatever's going to be the successor to the Switch, that development consoles have gone out to some of the major players in the industry, but those might look like a toaster compared to whatever the Switch 2 is going to actually look like.
Right.
So I'd be interested to see if anything ends up leaking from that, but I assume it's probably pretty tightly knit around there.
Yeah, especially, Gamescom was what? It was like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and we're just finding out about it now. But yeah, some other information, they just said that apparently this new console can be used in portable mode and has an LCD screen as opposed to the OLED screen. It also comes with a cartridge slot for physical games. So that's pretty much all we know right now from this information. So yeah, I have no idea. So we talked about it not too long ago when there was this rumor going around, and more specifically about the time frame. And I think it was after the next fiscal year. So we were saying April 2024 as early as it would possibly come out. So, when you think about it, it's not too far away. So I'm sure we'll be getting more and more news updates as the year goes by. So yeah, it's really there's so many people with Nintendo Switches right now, and for them to make that jump to a new one, I think you gotta be able to play these older Nintendo games.
Yeah, especially when your console itself with the LCD it's gonna feel like a little bit of a backstep. I'm not sure that people who play Nintendo consoles are as concerned with graphics as they would be just the overall package there when it comes to that OLED versus LCD screen.
Yep, I totally agree. What do you need that higher? I guess it's for the people that have the Switch as their main console, that are missing out on a lot of those titles. But I feel like there's not a ton of those people that are excited to play Mortal Kombat or Grand Theft Auto or whatever on the Nintendo Switch. So, but as we're seeing the rise of more and more handheld devices and stuff like that, this could be more targeting the Steam Deck and that sort of thing. If you got a high-end handheld console, is not worrying so much about the docked version of it, that might be the market that they're trying to take, Yeah. But I guess time will tell. So we'll make sure we report any news that we do hear regarding that. All right, next up. By now, we're all aware of the ongoing SAG-AFTRA TV and film strike. The strike may soon be expanding into the world of video games. SAG-AFTRA, that's the union that all the actors and production people are in, and they're calling on their members to vote on whether or not the union should declare a strike for video game actors and performers. Now, that's basically all this is right now. That the voting closes September 25th on whether or not they want to, stand in solidarity with the, the current actors and production people in the TV and film industry. And I think I think it's a good idea. Go get paid, these guys are doing the same thing as TV and film people, even more so now with motion capture and stuff like that. And they got these people hanging from wires, with balls all over their face, and not in the good way.
Yeah. And a lot of the concern, I think, comes down to AI, just like the conversation is going with the film and movie production, stuff like that.
Yep.
Have you seen what the AI voices are capable of right now?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I do ultimately think that it would be bad for the quality of these games. If you're not getting that real, I don't know if this is just the old man, yelling at the cloud, but I do feel like you miss out on some of that real, either the emotion or the, by cutting out a real person.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a degree. Maybe there's a good place where they can meet in the middle. Because I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing that they could, say they want to make DLC for the game, but the actor is fairly compensated, the voice actor or something is fairly compensated a good sum of money to let them make new lines for the game down the road so that they don't have to get all these voice actors back into a studio to make new lines. As long as they're compensated for the work that would be done with their digital likeness, I guess, I could see that being an okay thing.
Yeah, it could be, but it does kind of create that, it's a slippery slope from that point. It's what is a fair compensation, and what is the amount of how much compensation do you need for how much we can use your likeness going forward?
Yeah.
It's definitely it's interesting when we talk about this AI. Because it's something that we've never had to really deal with before. But yeah, so the union is asking for the same wage increases for video game performers as those in TV and film. And then artificial intelligence protections around consent, control, transparency, and compensation. On-camera performers to be given rest periods of 5 minutes per hour. Then set medics, prohibition against stunts on performers' self-taped auditions, and protections against vocal stress. Some crazy stuff that seems common sense to me to have in there. But yeah, it's just real quick. Fran Drescher, she's the president of SAG-AFTRA, also the nanny. She said, these are largely the same fights over the same issues, and members are stronger together. By standing shoulder to shoulder and in solidarity, we multiply our strength and send a clear and unmistakable message to all of our employers. We will not be exploited. Without fair terms that protect our members and respect their contributions, employers should not have the benefit of our members' services. So, yeah, this could happen, and it's gonna. I mean, right now I keep saying. So I do. If those of you who are not familiar, I do another podcast that's about new television shows coming out. It's called First Steps. Go check it out if you like TV shows. And we're already talking about what we're going to do soon when there's no new content coming out. And it's really interesting. It's kind of for someone like myself who, gets anxiety with all of the stuff to consume that I want to consume. I could go back and watch some of these shows or movies that I might have missed because of all the new content coming out. And I kind of feel the same way. If this does happen in the video game industry, this is most likely will be for the big studios, WB and EA and all sorts of things. So either A, it's going to get more eyes on indie games, that aren't affected by this. Or it's going to get me into that backlog, which I desperately need to get into.
And I think it's worth pointing out that this isn't necessarily affecting the whole gaming industry. And a lot of the problems that we hear on a week-to-week basis here about what's going on and how people are getting screwed. Because we're just talking about the actors here. We're not necessarily talking about the developers behind these games who face crunch, death threats, everything else. There needs to be somebody fighting for their side of things, I think, as well. But that's probably a separate conversation.
Sure.
But when it comes down to delays and things like that, yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag of what gets delayed, what's already been recorded, and what just needs to be developed further, things like that.
Yeah, because right now the way they're doing it in the TV and film industry is that these actors can go and work on indie films and indie shows and stuff like that as long as they're not part of a major studio. And I could see that, maybe some of these bigger name stars in the video game world going and doing some, indie passion projects or something, or lending their voice to some of these indie non-big studio things. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. September 25th is when the voting closes, like I said. So we'll know more. If they're going to strike, we'll know that day. So we'll talk about it more then. All right, and last week we talked about all the big upcoming games to Game Pass. But real quick, the official Game Pass announcement for September came out. 3 games. That's all we need when you've got Starfield as one of them, Lies of P coming out September 19th, and then Solar Ash comes out September 14th from the creators of Hyper Light Drifter. So yeah, the more I keep seeing about Lies of P, there was like a video showing like all the weapons and stuff in the game. Dude, I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's like just less than 2 weeks away. So yeah, I was excited for Starfield too, and I haven't played that yet. So I don't know. We'll see, man.
Yeah, so much to play, so little time.
I'm just always gonna keep blaming Baldur's Gate for eating up all my time, But yeah, Lies of P, I'm definitely excited for. This Solar Ash looks pretty good too. All right, next up, another video game movie was announced, and I did not expect this one. Out of all the possible video game adaptations, Stray was announced. Annapurna Interactive's video game Stray, about a cute little cat in a world of robots, was announced to be created into an animated movie from Annapurna's animation branch. What are your thoughts?
I haven't actually played the game, so I really don't know what to expect, but I can see this as a really good adaptation. I was thinking like a whole Netflix series or something.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it could be really well done, especially whatever type of animation they use. Because in the game, like it's a dark world and the highlight is this cute cat in a world of robots, and
Yeah.
it's bleak, but it has hope. So it's going to be interesting to see what this is all about. A quote from this studio that says, "This is a game that's all about what makes us human, and there are no humans in it. It's a buddy comedy about a cat and a robot, and there's such a hilarious dynamic. So there's comedy inherent in this, but there's not one human being in this movie. I think it's one of the reasons why the game was incredibly popular, that you're seeing the world through the point of view of an adorable cat." So, yeah, cats, dude. They're big right now. Real big. He also added that the style-wise, the film will take on hope punk aesthetics. Have you ever heard of this term, hope punk?
No.
Yeah. No, me neither. But it says that it highlights positivity, kindness, and optimism as rebellious weapons. It says, "I love that term, hope punk. I think if we are going to do this adaptation justice, this is going to be the first and greatest hope punk movie that's ever been made." So, yeah,
Okay,
that was
makes
new
sense.
to me.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, it's being done by Nick Bruno, who previously directed Nimona from Annapurna. It was most recently released on Netflix, which if you haven't seen it, watch Nimona because it's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for Stray. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to see what the animation looks like. It's gonna be robots and dark world and cute cats.
That'll probably be my inspiration to actually go find a copy of the game and play it.
There you go. I'm sure you've got time. All right, Alone in the Dark reboot has been delayed. We're hearing a lot about these delays lately. This one was done just because there's so much good stuff out. So it was initially supposed to come out October 25th, which would make sense, dude. You know, it's right before Halloween, spooky. But Alan Wake 2 is coming out. Spider-Man 2 is coming out. So THQ Nordic said, hey, let's not mess with this. Let's move it to January 16th, 2024, you know, when things are just as spooky, right in the middle of winter.
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about, like, were the WrestleQuest delays because of this possibly? Or, you know, get it out of that cluster of other games. This one would have made a lot more sense to come out around, you know, October than January, I think. But, a lot of competition at that time. I guess I don't blame them.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. They said, our intention is to avoid competing with the wake of Alan's epic release and to evade the dazzling skyline of cities adorned by the graceful swings of Spider-Man. We aim to truly remain as alone in the dark as possible. To honor this, the spine-chilling horror game has been rescheduled to unveil its horrors on January 16th, 2024. This extension will serve a dual purpose. Not only will it permit us to meticulously perfect the gaming experience, but it will also grant us the opportunity to fully immerse ourselves in the remarkable releases of October. Yeah, what a great little quote that was. It was very flowery and it was exciting. Yeah. It's January 16th. I was excited for this one. We talked about it recently when they showed the cast. I'm excited to get in there and be alone in the dark, baby. But yeah, we've been seeing it a lot with a lot of these games getting moved around all willy-nilly. And sometimes you wonder if it's from, like, you know, they're just fixing some bugs or whatever. If sometimes they're just afraid of the competition. And this year specifically, I mean, there's been a lot of huge competitions. So this is probably one of the greatest years of video games that in my memory. So yeah, I don't blame them. Start strong next year, January 16th.
And if nothing else, they're honest.
Exactly. That's why THQ Nordic is one of my favorites, dude. They make some weird stuff and they're honest. And they have these flowery quotes. All right, next up, a new game alert, new role-playing game alert, a new steampunk role-playing game alert. New Arc Line is this game. It looks really, really cool. So it's a turn-based game where you have like a party and you go through and you fight crazy-looking monsters. It's a single-player game, story-driven role-playing game. It says, the new world looms on the horizon, the shining city of progress and the last beacon of hope in your search for a cure to your family's fatal disease. The whole family has a fatal disease you don't hear about. Usually it's just one person. But you'll soon discover that the city's beauty runs only skin deep, tensions growing between different factions in the world of arcane magic and steampunk gadgets, the rich exploiting the poor, the humanoid hunting the monstrous, and in the middle of it all, you, a stranger in a strange land, unaware of the role you have to play in shaping the future of this world. Exciting stuff right here, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see a little more gameplay of this. The trailer looks pretty cool, but it looks kind of early on. It's not really showing you how you control the characters. And I'm on this Baldur's Gate 3 kick. It's opening me up to more games. This seems like something sort of in that style when I see the four party characters running around together. But they also look like they're kind of on a grid together, and I'm not sure how it's all going to work gameplay-wise. If it's going to kind of snap and feel good.
Right. In this post Baldur's Gate 3 world, man, when you have a game like this that is a turn-based role-playing game, and they do say that it is a turn-based tactical role-playing game, so there might be grid movement about that, because they say that it says fight head-on and brute force your way through encounters, or observe and analyze each situation and come up with cunning strategies to conquer even seemingly overwhelming odds. It's a plethora of skills, spells, crafting recipes, and consumables at your disposal to turn the tide of battle in your favor. So it does sound like you have options to play it however you want to play it. Now, that being said, it's got it, like, again, Baldur's Gate 3 nailed it. Like, perfected this battle where you can play it how you want to play it. So it's going to be tough This is gonna have to come out long enough after that game, so we've kind of forgotten
Yeah.
about it, or just get it really nailed as far as the gameplay, because the visuals look fantastic already, and like you said, it does look early on. But like the characters, like there's a steampunk guy with big fists, like punching
Yeah.
stuff, and it seems really cool. Some bullet points to create your own character as a human, elf, dwarf, or giant. You got to gather a party of a bunch of people, and you learn their stories and help them out. So that's the whole thing. And then there's 6 character classes, 12 subclasses. It says, will you master the secrets of magic to incinerate enemies as a hellfire occultist, curse them with your mystical voodoo abilities, or assist your allies as a celestial sage? All this stuff sounds great. Or steampunk mechanic, or diesel punk engineer. I'm like, yeah, dude, sign me up for this game right now. I'm excited to see what this is. Like, I love everything I'm reading here. So hopefully they could, make something great with this. It's going to be out for PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC some point in the future. And last up, we've been talking about nostalgia in games the last few weeks. Here's another one. Gargoyles Remastered is coming to consoles October 19th. Are you familiar with the Gargoyles?
Yeah, I remember the cartoon. I don't remember playing the game, though.
All right. Yes. I loved the cartoon. It was like one of my favorite cartoons because it was like, it was a superhero cartoon before like superheroes were really mainstream, I think we had like X-Men back then or whatever. But and it had like a story. It had an ongoing story, which you didn't often see, again, except for X-Men. But I never had a Sega Genesis, so this was a Sega Genesis game. So yeah, now I could play the Gargoyles game. So what's cool about it still, same thing as like we talked about Rugrats last week, where you could switch between the different versions. This also does it. You could play as in the original 16-bit mode, where it's the Sega Genesis game, or you can switch it to this new remastered graphics thing just on the fly. You can just switch it whenever. The new HD remastered one looks, I don't know, it looks great. I understand there's, people like this classic, this retro stuff. But that HD remastered it looked fantastic. It was beautiful. It looked like the cartoon,
Yeah.
So, I'll definitely be looking into this one at some point. It is, let's see. Oh, it also has, did you see that? It has an instant rewind feature. So, like,
that's pretty cool.
You mess up and you just rewind it and just get back in there. So, it's got the original voice actor Keith David reprising his role as one of the Gargoyles. So it's going to be out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC October 19th.
Yeah.
So
you love to see it. If you're going to do a remaster of like something like this is the way to do it. Give people not just like the ROM you downloaded off of the website that you're trying to shut down.
Exactly.
Actually give some more value, put some more work into it to make it worth buying. Love to see it.
Yeah, and this was like, I think this is one of those, those cult classic like cartoons that lingered on. So I'm excited to see how this one does and how well it sells. Because if it does well, I mean, we've been seeing it pretty regularly with these older titles coming up. We could be seeing a lot more of them in the near future. So
yeah,
and this is from Disney. This is a Disney Games one. So they got a lot. They got a big. They got a bunch of shit that they could be making. All right. You got anything else you want to chat about?
I think that's it.
We did it, dude. I like it. I like that. All right. Thanks so much for checking out this week's episode of Gaming News Weekly. Go check us out on YouTube. We're on there. You can find this show at Pop Culture Playground on YouTube. You can find full clip over at GameFAQs, GAMEFAX. You can also check out all our stuff on Fruit Lab. It's a great website where you can post video game content, watch video game content, and earn a cryptocurrency called Pips in the process. And And then check out the podcast version of this show. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find Gaming News Weekly. Type in GNW or Gaming News Weekly, and you'll have this week's episode. Make sure you subscribe. That way you'll just have it, bam, waiting for you every Monday morning, 7 a.m. You got it in your box, ready to go. Start your work week with all the video game news. You can also check us out on Instagram and TikTok if you want to stay informed every single day. There's new stuff coming out. I think we got it all. Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. He said it. All right, let's get out of here. That's everything. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.